and welcome home. In this podcast, we venture into what it means to be a leader in this new world. Human, flawed but working on things, and forever changed by using our intuition to guide us. I'm Adalina East, founder of Transformational Healing and mentor to those running soul-based businesses. Join me to receive transformational healing, tips to dive more deeply into your unique spiritual gifts, and to hear great conversations with other entrepreneurs in spirit. Let's get started. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Cosmic Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Adalina East. I am an EMDR therapist. I use internal family systems or IFS therapy, and I also use my own modality, transformational healing, to lead you towards healing yourself, something I believe that we are all capable of doing. You have asked for a very special episode today. You asked for an episode about how to set and keep boundaries over the holidays. As all of you have said in your messages to me, the holidays are different, and they are. There was recently a study put out by UCLA with people stating that they would rather get and go through the process of moving house than having to go through the holidays again. This is serious, everybody. It's serious. I understand that the holidays are stressful. I feel like there's a lot of different ways that we can go towards this stress with our resilience, remembering who we are, and keeping in our own power and in our own energy. This is what we're going to talk about on the podcast today. So if you've been looking for some helpful tips to get through the holidays, to get through the family visits, to get through all of the things that go along with this holiday cheer time of life, we understand. I'm here for you. I understand the holiday cheer is not for everyone. That study knocked my socks off. I was trying to find it again so that I could link it below, and I will do my best to find it again. But as most of you know, I have a photographic memory. So when I read things, they get stored in there and I can't always find them again. But I will do my best. I will try. So let's talk about what it is at the holiday season that makes everybody stressed out. Okay. First of all, we have gift giving. This is a major one. When people were asked about the gifts that they give over the holidays, most people said that they did not feel that they got the right gift for the right people. You know what, everybody? We are all in the same boat. I think most people feel that way, unless it's someone that you know very well and that you've known for a long time who has told you exactly what they want. How often does this happen? Almost never. If you live in a hyper communicative family like I do, you all do make decisions before the holidays and say, we're not doing presents. We are doing presents. This is the spending cap. But I understand that my family doing this is the product of a whole lot of psychotherapy and a whole lot of different interventions that have gotten us to this place. So I ask you, is the gift giving a part of your stress? Secondly, the second stressor that a lot of people talked about was this idea of holiday parties. A party should be fun. It should be a joyful time to gather with friends. But I understand that it's super stressful. And I think some of that stress is having to feel cheery. If you are not in a cheery mood, this is not for you right now. I personally have been processing the election. I personally have been processing what it is that our country has said that they want for their future. It doesn't really put me in a cheery mood, but I have some solutions for this today. So stay tuned. Thirdly, is a part of your holiday stress about meeting with family? What this means for many, as far as I understand, is that it is a triggering time. Meeting with family can bring up childhood trauma that you feel like maybe you've already processed, or maybe you feel like you haven't processed yet, but you're getting ready to do so. Yes, this is triggering. We are also going to talk about this today. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. Hey, everybody, it's the holiday season. It can be so hard to fit your spiritual practice into all of the events this month. I completely understand. I have the same problem myself. It's so important that we keep up our spiritual practice this time of year because it's what will get us through, right? So I miss you all so much. Let's gather together on Saturday, December 21st at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. That's 4 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Pacific. We will do an hour and a half channeled healing with the guides. So what this will look like is an online event where you enter the Zoom room and you start hearing from your ancestors, hearing from your spirit guides, all about what's taking place in the world, in your life, all of those kinds of things. And then the guides will do a full transformational healing session for everyone there. I really recommend that you come to this event because I haven't been doing so many events. As all of you know, I've been really, really busy, but I'm so excited to see all of you and I miss you all and I would love to see you there. If you have too much going on Saturday, December 21st, sign up for the event anyway. Everyone will receive an emailed link to be able to access the recording for about a week after we have it. You can download it as well, and then you can keep using it over and over again, which, as we know, neuroscientifically, our brains love repetition. So join us Saturday, December 21st at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. I just can't wait to see you there. We're going to include the link below. Talk to you very soon. Hey, everybody. Okay, let's start with the first stressor that most of you wrote to me about, the gift giving. So again, today's episode is about boundary setting and boundary keeping. So if we want to set and keep our holiday boundaries, let's talk about how we can do this from the perspective of gift giving. So if you are a person who is relied upon to give the perfect gift, I'm going to ask you first to release yourself from that obligation. Understand that this might not be your most perfect gift ever, and that's okay. It is okay. This can also stem from trauma. I have worked with many people who have a history of perfectionism. Oftentimes, perfectionism comes from having to have been the perfect child. Maybe there was another person in the family who had a chronic illness or a drug addiction or something along those lines. And you had to be the perfect one. You had to be the one that held it all together. Perhaps you were parentified due to a parent having a chronic illness or mental illness or addiction. I get it. Many of us have that. These are things that you can work out through EMDR therapy, internal family systems therapy, or my modality transformational healing. If you don't have time for those things because it is December and the holidays are coming, this is what I suggest. Definitely book a session or start working with a therapist on some of these things. But in the meantime, it is so, so important that you release yourself from having to be that perfect gift giver. When you find yourself deepening that perfectionism or starting to feel as though love will be lost if you don't get the perfect thing for the perfect person, I want you to close your eyes. We can all do this together right now. If you're not driving or doing something else, you can close your eyes and imagine yourself being surrounded by love. You can picture yourself surrounded by your spirit guides, your ancestors, universal energies, a friend group that's really loving and accepting. Just picture yourself surrounded by love. And remember that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to find this perfect gift. And that those that do not love you, if you do not find this perfect gift, are probably not the people that you thought they were anyway. We can work on it in therapy. Don't worry. Secondly, after you picture yourself surrounded by love, I want you to think about what your budget is. Budgeting is hard for people. I get it. I am certainly not a financial coach. There are probably about 1 million out there that can give you free budgets for you to then put in your values and see how much money you can spend on these gifts. I want you to remember that this is a once a year thing. And I want you to remember that whomever you are giving a gift to, hopefully, will want you to have your basic needs met first and maybe even above your basic needs. I hope they want you to have above your basic needs met. So when making that budget, really think about how much money you have to spend on these gifts. If there's one in particular that feels incredibly important, like a boss or something along those lines, remember that they're getting gifts from other people too. It's not just you. And remember that you only have to do what is possible for you. If you're waiting for that permission slip to just do what's possible for you, here it is. Take that permission slip. Only buy what is possible for you without going into debt. And if that means no gift, a beautiful handwritten card is also wonderful. I have spent many Christmases pretty destitute where I've had to write cards instead of gifts, and it was okay. And it actually showed me a lot about the people that I was writing cards to. So please don't be afraid to stay within your means without going into debt. And remember that those who are really loving to you and supportive in your life are going to get it, whether you spend $100, $5, or nothing at all. Secondly, if you find that the perfectionism is really creeping up and it's really starting to weigh on you and you can't stand it, I want you to, every single time that happens, I want you to close your eyes. Imagine yourself surrounded by love, whether it's ancestors, spirit guides, a friend group, whatever it is. Okay? Okay. So that's setting our boundaries with gift giving from one perspective. From another perspective, if you are able, if you feel comfortable enough, you can have the conversations with the people in your life that I was talking about my family and I have done for the last few years. So you can say, listen, I have about $20 to spend on a present for you this year. Are you thinking about us getting each other gifts? If not, no worries. But if we are, I just want you to know that $20 is kind of my cap. I can't really go over that. If you want to give me some ideas, that would be great. But I am not in a position to spend more than that. If that doesn't seem like it will fly with whomever you're talking about, again, I divert back to the boss gift giving, which is always the most awkward. You can also avoid this conversation and just get whatever you can afford. After all, it's your boss. They know how much you make, right? If it's a close friendship or a family member that you really enjoy and have a good connection with, I suggest having this conversation. It really sets expectations. It allows you to be free of feeling like you have to do more than you can do. And it, I think, increases intimacy in the relationship. So give that a try. Let's move on to setting and keeping boundaries about holiday parties. So we've talked about this in this podcast before. I work with a lot of folks who are on the autism spectrum, and parties are often not their bag. I must be honest, they're not really my bag either. I am immunocompromised. I really can't be around that many germy people. I find that I kind of have to stay inside from like Thanksgiving week until after New Year's, just because people are gathering so much and they're spreading so much sickness. And I really can't be exposed to those kinds of things without ending up in the hospital, which is really expensive and really awful for me. So I get it. You don't want to attend holiday parties. Let's talk about how to set some boundaries around that. So what I usually recommend to people who are seeing me in my private practice for sessions is to get as much information about the party as you possibly can. What does this look like? So you can go up to the host if you're close enough with them and just say, I'm trying to figure out my schedule for the holidays. I saw that you invited me to XYZ. Thank you so much. That was so kind of you. I am really trying to limit my stimulation this holiday season. I'm really tired. I've got a lot going on this year. Do you mind letting me know what kind of a party this is? Is this like a small gathering of just 10 of us? Is this a larger party involving like all of your work friends, all of your life friends, all of your spouse's work friends, all of that person's life friends. Try to get an idea of what is involved in this party. I have found this to be really successful. And I think, at first people look at you a little bit like, who do you think you are to be questioning me about my party? It's my party. I'm going to do whatever I want. But just reassure them through that opening line of, I'm really trying to limit my stimulation. That right there lets them know it has nothing to do with them. It's not that you don't like their friends. You're just trying to limit your stimulation. You're so overstimulated. You're so tired already. You want to go to the party, but you're just trying to assess how much energy you will need to be there. See what they say. If it feels too awkward to have this conversation, you can always arrive at the party a little bit late, just so that you can kind of be a little more anonymous and see how you feel there. I think seeing how we feel is an undervalued plan of attack in these kinds of situations. I think there's so much expectation for people to put on a new party dress and get all gussied up and head out and then be at the party for hours. What if you just go in your jeans? If you feel comfortable doing so, what if you just go in like a very simple dress or a simple pair of pants and a shirt? Don't get as dressed up as you normally would. Set the expectations for yourself a little bit lower. Again, we go back to that perfectionism thing that we were talking about. Don't have to be perfect. It's just a party. You can find a way to enjoy this party as you. Go to the party as you. Don't go as this perfect, cheery holiday person. Go as you. Spend 10 minutes there. See if you like it. If it feels bad, make an excuse and leave. I'm so sorry. I'm just too tired. I got to go. I'm too tired. That is something that no one can talk you out of. And that is something that no one can really argue with. Like, I'm too tired. Oh, have a coffee or something. No, it's too late for coffee. I just got to go to bed. End of story. Okay. That's one technique. The second technique is to not go at all. And here's where the setting and keeping boundaries comes in. If you find that you're really overstimulated at the holidays, if you find that you get home from work and you're just dead exhausted from the day, because at most workplaces, everyone's trying to cram a bunch of stuff into December, right? It's okay if you don't want to go. You can call the host and say, I'm so sorry. I'm just not up for this. I hope that you have a great party. Some people even send a text. It depends on your generation. If you are of a generation where people accept texts, send a text. I'm so sorry. Not going to make it. I'm not feeling up to it. No one can really argue with you unless you let them argue with you. No is a complete sentence. It's also kind of a rude sentence sometimes. So the reasoning can always be, no, I'm overstimulated. No, I'm too tired. No, it doesn't feel aligned for me right now. What are people going to say to that? Well, get it aligned? No. Nope. It doesn't feel aligned for me right now. Thank you so much for inviting me. I will see you for lunch next week. I'll see you at work tomorrow, whatever the case may be. Okay? That's how you can set and keep boundaries with holiday parties. Also, if you know yourself well enough, like I know myself well enough to know that I will never in my whole life until the day I die go to an event that starts past 8 p.m. Not going to happen. I'm exhausted. I need to go to bed at 8 o'clock. I'm just not going. It could be a party with like Barack Obama. Okay, maybe if it was Barack Obama, I'd go for like an hour. But I'm just saying, normally I will not leave the house past 8 p.m. So you can also set yourself that kind of boundary, just knowing who you are, knowing your energy levels, knowing what you've got going on this year or this December. You can also just say, you know what? I'm going to set a boundary for myself. If anyone invites me to anything that starts past 8 and Barack Obama is not there, I am not going. Simple as that. And then your reasoning to the host, if they ask you, can be, I just don't have the energy for that. Again, what are they going to say? If they're offended, they're offended. What's important is your sleep schedule, your ability to get up and have a great day, your ability to feel like you are meeting your own needs and not abandoning yourself to satisfy other people. Don't abandon yourself. Okay. Very important in the holiday season. And it's something that I find people do pretty freely and easily during the holiday season because there's so much pressure. But let's let go of that pressure. Let it float on by us. Set your boundary before the invitations start coming in. I am not leaving the house past 8. End of story. And actually, what I have to share with you is that over time, my friends have totally understood this. And like my very close friends know that it's not going to happen for me past a certain time. And so they'll have like a little pre-party. Like, do you want to come over and help me get ready at 5? Sure. I love that. Let's get ready together at 5. I'll eat with you all and then I'll take off and everybody else can do their late night thing. I don't do late night things. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I find that a lot of that happens late night. I just don't really want to be around it. So, your friends over time will adapt. The third thing that we were going to talk about is having family time. We are going to talk about how to deal with having family time right after this break. Do you ever feel like you're stuck and you're not quite sure what to do next? Do you ever feel like maybe the best times of your life might be behind you and you're not sure where to go from here? I completely understand. I work with a lot of people in the same situation. If you are going through this sort of life transition time, I'm here to help. I find that with a lot of my clients, the life transition time overlaps with a lot of other things. Parents aging, raising children, switching careers, relationship changes, all of those kinds of things. I believe in the ability of all of us to transition through these things with ease and with grace if you have the right guide. I am so happy to work with you through any and all of these things. I find that a lot of trauma healing can happen during this time because we start to look at how that has impacted our lives so far. So if you're starting to notice yourself going through changes, wanting to see more change in your life, and wanting to let go of these older traumas, check out my website. We're going to include the link below. You can book just a single session with me to start if that feels right for you, either using EMDR or internal family systems or IFS therapy, also called parts work. Or you can book a transformational healing session, my own modality, to try to work through whatever's going on a spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical level all at the same time. I really recommend this. I find it's the fastest way through. But of course, this is up to you, and I have lots of different options to suit every need. I would love to walk with you through this transition time. I hope to hear from you soon. Let's talk about family time. Let's talk about how to deal with having family time over the holiday. Let's talk about how we move through it. Let's talk about doing it with grace and ease because it is possible. It is infinitely possible. So you know what I'm going to say first. First, I'm going to say, if you find that you have a lot of family triggers, if you find that being around your family is just awful for you and that you can only do it for like 1 day or 2 days, again, don't abandon yourself. Set those boundaries with yourself first. You won't break them. Set them with yourself and say, I will not be around my family for more than 2 days, period. Then, when you are asked what you're doing with your family, you can make plans according to that boundary you've set with yourself first, knowing that you will not abandon yourself because you're so good at taking care of yourself. So think about that first. I understand that if you are in a 12-step program of some kind, the goal is to always be brutally honest and to never lie, because apparently lying really might mess up your sobriety. I get it. I do. I do think, though, that we all have to tailor our responses and tailor our reactions to the people that we have in our world if we want to continue to have relationships with them. If we don't want to, if we really don't care if we ever see our family again, sure, do whatever you want. But if you want to continue having a relationship with them and you know that certain things will not go down well and you want to avoid the drama and you feel okay about keeping your sobriety despite telling a white lie, here are a few. One is I have to work. I have to work on the 27th, which actually is true for literally anyone who's in business for themselves. So if you run your own business, you know what I'm talking about. Like, maybe we can swing having a week off at the holidays. I can't because I'm a therapist, but some people can. Telling your family that you have to work on the 27th is no joke. That's probably for real if you own your own business. If you don't own your own business and you still have to work the 27th, congrats. There's a ready-made excuse for you. Otherwise, you are also an adult. You're a grown-up. You get to choose how you spend your time off. If you want to spend your time off alone, sitting on the couch in your underwear, watching television, do it. Do it. It's your life. Enjoy your life. You can even go so far as to tell your family, I really need time alone. I'm going to come for 2 days. I look forward to seeing you guys for 2 days, but then I just really need time alone. I have this time off work, kind of against my will or whatever the case may be. Some companies close and you can't work. Or I have this time off work and I took it intentionally off work because I just really need time alone. That is the truth. See how they handle it. It's always worth a try. If you feel as though they can't handle it, if you feel as though your sobriety will be okay, if you tell a white lie, I suggest going with the work thing. It's very effective. Another thing that I've found clients have a lot of success in doing is also setting the boundary more in advance. It may be too late to do this year, but one of the more advanced boundaries is to just say, you know what, I have decided I'm going to go do XYZ for Christmas this year. You guys will be without me. I'm going to go do this instead. And that sets up their expectation with enough advance notice that they can then choose to do something else, or they already know you won't be there. So maybe you'll spend time together during a less pressurized time of year. I mean, the holidays are the highest pressure time of year. So I always recommend families that have trauma, ongoing trauma, or trauma that people are still recovering from, meet up in April. I mean, it doesn't need to be Christmas. It doesn't need to be Hanukkah. It doesn't need to be Kwanzaa. Meet up at a random time in the middle of the year. April's good because, prices are low for flights and nothing really great's happening anywhere in April. So that's a good time. If you feel as though you can handle more time with your family and your family is not a problem, they are a joy to you, please go and enjoy. Spend that time together. Count your blessings that is so easy for you and so joyful for you. That's wonderful. Do it. If it tends to be a sore subject, if you feel a lot of trauma coming up, I recommend booking in advance with your therapist. I can tell you my December is looking really full. People I haven't seen in years tend to come back in December about this stuff. So remember that your practitioners are human too. Your therapists and healers are human too. Try to book with as much advance notice as you can, just so that you have the help that you need around this time of year. It's so important. The last thing I want to say is don't abandon yourself. Go through this holiday season without abandoning you, without abandoning your needs. Remember that you come first. Be as honest as you can be safe being. And I hope that you are able to find some holiday cheer in this holiday season. I'm going to go look at twinkle lights. I'm going to be going to see the Nutcracker. I'm going to do my favorite holiday things and keep on keeping on, even though there are worries. So I hope that you all can do the same thing. I love you so much. I will see you again soon.
Thank you so much for listening to these important conversations about cosmic leadership and the changing needs of our times. If you enjoyed this conversation, please rate and review this podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also share it with a friend. Join our crew at Adalina East on Instagram or at Adalina East Healing on Facebook. With all the love from every dimension, Adalina.